Examine the institutional history of South Asian Sufism, and you will find a world governed by men. The public face of the faith is defined by bearded scholars, strict lineages of male masters, and massive state-funded shrines. This version of events was cemented by centuries of texts, biographies, and genealogies written almost exclusively by male theologians. They meticulously documented formal successions while prioritizing organizational structure over the fluid, daily practice of the religion. But the origins of the faith suggest a different trajectory. Early records show the Prophet's wives and daughters as active religious guides. Yet, as Sufism became institutionalized around the 9th century, female names began to disappear from the official record. When a female mystic achieved undeniable spiritual status, male hagiographers struggled to reconcile her power with their patriarchal framework. Their solution was often linguistic. They reclassified her gender. They declared that a woman who reached such peaks had become a man, formally erasing her femininity to preserve the hierarchy. While the establishment was refining its records, an alternative reality was taking shape on the ground. A functioning shadow hierarchy emerged, a tiered system of influence operated entirely by women. Between the rigid lines of the official genealogies and the ground reality of the subcontinent lies a massive, undocumented space, a network that relies on proximity and practice rather than titles. The first barrier to participation was linguistic. High-level Sufi doctrines were historically written in Persian, effectively cutting off the uneducated, rural population from formal theological discourse. Marginalized women bypassed this barrier by translating complex spiritual concepts into the local, everyday vernacular that ordinary villagers used in their own homes. They embedded these teachings into chakinama, specialized folk verses sung to match the heavy rhythm of grinding grain. By syncing theology to physical labor, they made abstract doctrine a permanent part of the working day. The spinning wheel offered another vehicle. Through charkanama, women used the steady hum of the wheel to anchor spiritual work songs, turning a repetitive domestic chore into a meditative practice. This influence reached the next generation through lori, or lullabies. Mothers used these intimate moments to transmit Sufi philosophy directly to their children, creating a chain of transmission that bypassed the gatekeepers of the formal orders. By embedding the faith into the rhythm of domestic life, these women became the primary distribution system for the religion, ensuring its mass adoption across South Asia. In the wealthier institutional shrines, influence takes a different form. Here, the most powerful figure is often the Purima, the mother or wife of the official male leader. Her position is a study in contradiction. While institutional rules bar her from holding an official title, she possesses the elite bloodline and intimate knowledge of the order's inner rituals. She utilizes the strict cultural rules of parda, or seclusion, to her advantage. By operating in gender-segregated spaces, she establishes a parallel power center that functions independently of male oversight. Behind these carved screens, she handles high-level spiritual labor. She blesses amulets, counsels female disciples, and manages the intricate social and economic ties that keep the shrine functioning. This authority even extends into formal rituals. During initiation ceremonies, the Purima often operates alongside the official leader, directing the ritual flow and receiving reverence from students as an undeniable spiritual guide. By maintaining the outward appearance of compliance, these elite women exert a level of executive authority that the official titles alone cannot provide. The final tier exists on the streets. These are the Bazari mystics, poor, marginalized women who operate entirely outside the safety of formal institutions. They rely on a social loophole known as divine madness. Because they appear disconnected from social norms, their erratic behavior is accepted as proof of an all-consuming love for God, granting them a unique form of spiritual immunity. For the urban poor, these women are often more accessible than formal state shrines. Citizens flock to these street-level mystics for immediate needs, healing, fertility petitions, and advice, finding them to be sympathetic agents of the divine. Though condemned by the formal male establishment, these ecstatic healers command intense local authority by filling the gaps that institutional Sufism often leaves behind. The formal hierarchy maintains its status through state patronage and official lineages. It holds the land, the legal recognition, and the titles. This diagram represents that top-down establishment. On paper, it is the sole source of religious command. But the practical survival of Sufism across centuries relied on an invisible network of mothers, matriarchs, and ecstatics. This informal network operates as an essential shadow to the formal rules. It doesn't replace the official hierarchy, but it populates the spiritual landscape with a depth of daily access and lived experience that the institutional charts simply cannot account for. When institutional patriarchy locks the front door to formal authority, spiritual influence simply redirects, flowing through these domestic, elite, and ecstatic back channels.